Hello there.
There we go.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi, my name's John. We are the Jedi Archives. We do weekly or bi-weekly, right? Bi-weekly comic review. Today we have something special. But if you're new to the program, introductions are order. My name's John.
Bryce.
And I'm Mike.
All right, and today we're gonna go over the San Diego Comic-Con Lucasfilm panel. Kind of preview what we're gonna talk about the next 2 years.
Yeah. So there were nine
Well,
major
at least the next year and a
announcements
half,
this year.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So there were nine major announcements this year for Star Wars and the High Republic. And this panel co-hosted by Justina Ireland, who's one of our the High Republic authors, and Patton Oswalt. So
Who
we had
was hilarious, by the way, Patton Oswalt. He was something else, man. He really made it entertaining, the panel.
So here I took the picture and I put labels, but they're really tiny, so you can't see. But that's Justina Ireland from left to right. And
there are.
yeah, because I put their names because I'm like, maybe everyone doesn't know who everybody is. Of course, it's Justina Ireland, and then next to her is she didn't write them all down in here, but
It's funny because she's kind of like almost like the way she's standing a little farther away than everyone, like she's a fan or photobombing them.
right. And then those three are
Jay.
Yeah, Jay. He's from Star Wars Outlaws, and he's going to be the big robot or the big droid. And then that's Patton Oswalt, of course, the co-host. And then we have the girl in the middle. She's going to be the lead.
Kimberly.
Kimberly. She's gonna be K Ness.
She plays K Ness in Outlaws. She's the main. She's the character that you're controlling. And D. Bradley Baker on the bottom is going to be that little pet that she's holding there.
Nix.
Oh, and I put pictures next to them. So see that droid next to Jay? That's
okay.
Like one of those commando droids. And then she's playing that character, which kind of looks like her. Yeah. And then D. Bradley Baker's playing that little axolotl creature, Nix, which she's holding a little toy of it, but there's a picture of him.
He's holding the prototype they'd use when they're actually filming. That's what he's holding.
Yeah. But he looks like what she's holding. And also in the picture. And then that guy in the gray hoodie, he's the one who's
Julian or Mike? Maybe Julian? Greyjoy?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Star Wars or Outlaws creator.
He's the game director.
Game director. And then, of course, we have Kevin Scott, and we have
Tessa Gratton.
Yeah. Those are two other beloved High Republic authors.
So really cool thing, just the whole Star Wars Outlaws thing. They do have an exclusive, skin, for lack of a better term, for Nix, only for Disney Plus subscribers.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
It gives Nix like a little glowing tail as he's scurrying across the ground.
He's super cute. I can't wait.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of footage from shout out to Lunar Squadron. These guys have been covering this game like nonstop every day. They're incredible. So I've been enjoying catching up on their content. But yeah, they got flown out for a hands-on demonstration.
Cool.
I'm excited for this game.
I bought a PS5 just to be able to play because I've been playing the games on my computer, but I'm like, no, I can't wait any longer. So I bought a PS5.
No, good for you. Good for you
and I've been playing the two Cal Kestis games.
Yeah,
and it's so different on the console.
It is.
I'm like, why did I wait so long? But now I got them really cheap, so they were really dirt cheap for me to buy.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
So here's the first announcement. It's called "This Is the Way Seeker." So this is 20 years prior to the Acolyte, and we're getting a novel from Justina Ireland. It's a new novel that explores Vernestra Row's life about 20 years prior to the events of the Acolyte, and it's going to be a giant leap from when we last saw her as a teenage prodigy in Phase 3 of the High Republic storytelling. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, very interesting because they're kind of taking a break. What do we have? Maybe one or two books out, but then it's like they're done in October.
Right.
Um,
We have one more book coming out. That's it. Adult book.
yeah, is that September? September?
That's the final book of the trilogy for the adult novels for the High Republic Phase 3. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because what it's the Eye of Darkness, Temptation of the Force, and then what's that? What is it? The third one's called something about
Is
the.
it?
It's almost it's a play on Charles's Light of the Jedi.
Yes, it is. It's like Light of the Jedi, but it's not. It's
Yeah. I know it's not Tales of the Jedi because that's
no.
But yeah, that's the book. But then it's like, then it's done, and then we're gonna get this book, and I know there's a couple other ones too that I think were announced. I know we'll get to. I think
it's Trials of the Jedi.
Trials of the Jedi. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then we got a break, and we're getting a break from everything, really, in October, which is going to be kind of nuts. Not to have any High Republic content. What till February?
March.
5?
March
2025.
I thought the comics started back up in February.
Maybe.
March. And I could be wrong. You guys were there, but I was trying to do as much reading on all this stuff to be somewhat educated before we got on the air.
Yeah, no, you're probably more caught up than we are.
So, but yeah, I'm excited for this. I mean, Justin, Ireland's a great writer. If this is what we get to understand the Acolyte better, I'm good with this. Like, I'm on board.
No, I know she's one of your favorite characters, right, John? So
not this one, not this abomination.
Oh,
okay, but she might be in this novel. You might.
They're gonna show us how they ruined her. Oh, okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, sure, they're gonna write it out for you. Then you have to.
You understand.
But not usually. Every High Republic book so far has been fantastic, especially compared to the show. So I'm sure this will be better than the show.
And you know what? Phase 3 has been better than the other two phases, in my opinion. The adult novels so far, the two that I've read, because I've read them both, I mean, fantastic. So I love it.
I'm using this break to get caught up, to be honest. This summer has been hectic for me from a reading. I've been doing the comics. I'm good with comics. That's what I have time for right now. But, man, I still got to finish Cataclysm. And I guess still got to finish. What do we got here?
There's a lot to read.
I've got Path of Vengeance and Quest for Planet X. So I've got those 3 books, and then The Eye of Darkness, Temptation of the Force.
Those are good.
Yeah, Defy the Storm and Escape from Valhalla.
And even though it's not a High Republic novel, the Living Force is a really good one to read too.
I've got that. I love where that takes place in canon. It's right after Master and Apprentice and right before Brotherhood, which is the Anakin and Obi-Wan book. So it's really cool. I am very excited to get to that book, but I need to get caught up on High Republic first.
And then the second announcement was Yord and Jeki live. So we have good news.
Oh, you don't have the photo they released? This is the one you found?
Yeah. Which
the
is
funny thing, it was these guys on a black cover, and it said, young adult novel leading up to the Acolyte, and then it's like the guys are telling you about Remy.
It's July 2025, right?
Yeah, but he's like, he was really teasing it. He's like, oh, that's a really ugly cover. He's like, what kind of name of a book is that? And it was a really funny moment because it's just like, yeah, this is really ugly. But it said pending, so.
So it's, we don't know. I couldn't find it, so I pulled this up.
They hit it because of that.
Because it was so ugly.
Patton Oswalt, yeah. He was just ripping in front of everyone.
Dude, Patton's such a great guy to do these types of like conventions and stuff.
Yeah,
but
he's hilarious.
The whole thing he did, what was it, in the courtroom or whatever it was at Parks and Rec that he spewed off
Oh yes,
the whole thing about
Boba
Boba Fett
Fett,
coming out,
yes.
and then the
and then
show
it was
comes out.
real.
Right, but then the show comes out and it's exactly what Patton said in the show like 2 years prior or
But
whatever.
they hadn't
Like,
really planned it. They just said that was so perfect. We've got to use it. I love it.
It was phenomenal. I still can't get over that though.
So for the Yord Horde and the Jeki Jam, we've got this coming. Obviously, this is prior to their deaths in the Acolyte, but it's going to give us a story of the years leading up to the Acolyte.
I'm sure this is going to be fantastic. It's going to make me love the characters.
Oh, we actually have two more books coming out for this year. We've got Beware the Nameless and then Tears of the Nameless. So I think those are young adult and junior novels.
And the junior novels, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then the third announcement was Marvel's The High Republic Comics, which is what our focus is. It's going to continue, and Kevin Scott revealed the continuation of his flagship series set in the golden age of the Jedi Order, returning with new issues in February 2025. And in a surprise twist, the Acolyte's Kelnaka joins Keith Trennis and the other familiar faces here to form a dream team with none other than Skier or Balin. And we still see Lorna D is there with them as part of the team. And my favorite, of course, Tesseract. I love him.
I'm telling you right now, at the end of this comic run, Lorna Dean's going to be the hero, and Key is going to be a villain.
Right. She's got to have her fall.
They're switching spots. It's going to really make us like Lorna Dean even more.
And it's going to be very much like the Acolyte, where they switch spots.
I think there's a good high probability Lorna Dean's the one that takes out Markion.
Oh yeah, she hates him.
I think there's a high probability. Yeah.
And you know what? It's perfect because she's not a Force sensitive, so she isn't as affected by the Nameless.
Yeah. Even though she almost got gnawed by one.
Well, because they still have teeth. That's true. But I mean, she's pretty powerful. All right. Next announcement was we also have the Acolyte, a one-off. It's called Get to Know Kelnaka. Kevin Scott's gonna.
It's called Get to Know Kelnaka. That's not going to be the name of this, is it?
No. That was the heading of this fourth announcement. So
good Lord, what a terrible comic book name!
No,
Get to Know
Kelnaka. It's going to be a one-shot for Marvel. And during the panel, we were treated to the first look inside the pages of this comic. So I shared those here with you. So that's the cover. It's going to call Star Wars: The Acolyte. And here's some of the images. Now, I'm assuming there's going to be dialogue to go with these, but
yeah.
Because right now it's just the images. There's no dialogue.
They don't want to give away. They don't want to give away any of the actual context. But
is that Starlight? That looks like Starlight Beacon.
It is Starlight Beacon
falling into. It is right. Okay.
Yeah, that's Starlight Beacon.
Is that Eldar Man? Maybe
that is Eldar Man, right? So I recognize him. I don't know who that kid is. But he looks like the same. But he looks like the same species as that Rise of the Red Blades. Did you guys read that one? Where she was that species, and they didn't want to tell her where she was from.
Right.
And so it looks like that same species from that. And then here we see Kelnaka, and it's interesting because here we can see that Eldar Man's like talking to this Padawan who's sad. Maybe his master got killed on Starlight Beacon, but he's a survivor. So then he just like hands him over to Kelnaka, and Kelnaka's like looking at him. The kid's like looking at Kelnaka, and he's like, okay, and he just takes off, and he's like looks at Kelnaka, and Kelnaka takes off. So the kid's like, well, I guess I better follow him, and then he just like goes right into action.
Yeah, that's a nice.
It looks like to me like this slide looks like it's fast forwarding a little bit because that character definitely looks a little more grown up.
And more aggressive too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so
not as timid. You're right.
Right.
Because here he has short hair. It's not quite as long.
Yep. And then it just seems even though the Padawan braid, I still think you can see. Yeah, you can still see the Padawan braid, but it just overall you can see that.
And you can see the Nile helmets too. Mm-hmm.
Imagine seeing a Wookiee doing flips over you with a lightsaber.
He is huge. I mean,
just imagine that.
Imagine Eunice doing a backflip over you.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Yoda doing little flips and stuff, but a Wookiee, dear Lord.
We've never seen Chewie do anything near this.
Yeah. We haven't even seen Chewie run or jump. It flips.
So yeah, those were the little previews for that one. And then the fifth announcement was called, and then there are, and always two there are.
Yeah. Volume 2, Art of High Republic, Christian Baber. Very, very cool. I knew they were doing I think she teased that there was always going to be a second volume when the first volume came out because there was still so much more to do. So yeah, very excited to add that. I've got
look at all the armor they're wearing. I love that photo.
Yeah, I got my Art of my High Republic just out of my reach right here, volume 1.
And Vernestra here has shorter hair now. It's starting to get shorter. So transitioning to John's favorite Vernestra, the bald one. Vernestra. The bald one.
Not hashtag not my Vernestra. Not my Vern.
she's like a Asajj Ventress, and Asajj Ventress Vernestra, because she's bald.
And you know what? You like Asajj more the more hair she has. So it's probably the same thing with Vernestra.
So we have this one with a forward from it's going to be, the cover features Vernestra Rowe, Avar Chris, and Belle Zettifar. Belle looks very grown up here. I'm liking it. And they're all armored up. Looks really good, despite a looming nameless threat. And in the last novel that I just finished, they do give little hints about how the Jedi are going to be able to defeat the Nameless. And Jonathan hasn't read it yet, but Jonathan, you were right. So I'll just say that now. You don't even know what you're right about, so
I know.
Read it. You got to read it. But I was like, damn that, Jonathan. So it's cool. It's going to have a forward by Vernestra Rowe herself. The Acolyte's Rebecca Henderson. So, Jonathan, I know you can't wait to read that. And then we also have even more art from the Acolyte. That's the sixth announcement.
This is the one. I'm not upset that we're getting this, by the way. What I'm upset with is we never got one for Book of Boba Fett. We never got one for Season 3 of Mandalorian. We never got one for Ahsoka. But we got one right away after the Acolyte's done. I'm excited that the book's coming. I'm upset that we've skipped 3 other shows. Oh, and Andor. Sorry, I forgot Andor in there too. So 4
Andor for sure.
Series that has a ton of concept art. People buy these up. This is like a slam dunk sale for people that are fans of just concept art. Alone.
Well, you know what, Bryce? I did get the art of like Mandalorian and but they were paperbacks and they were only through points on the through my Disney points, because I got them for free. But they were paperback books and they had the artwork.
I have the hardcovers of Solo: A Star Wars Story, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. I've got Force Awakens, Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, Mandalorian Season 1, Mandalorian Season 2. I got the Galaxy's Edge, which then I sent you a copy of.
I have that on my coffee table.
And then I've got the Star Wars: The High Republic as well.
And so they are fantastic.
They're great. And that's every single Disney movie property on there. Galaxy's Edge, which is just a theme park that has, and the High Republic, which makes sense because there's a ton of concept art out there for that.
Right.
But it's like, it just bothers me that we don't have that Book of Boba Fett Season 3 of Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Andor.
Andor, yep. I really would love
you're holding
that.
off on Andor until both seasons are done, and you're going to give me one book. I'm okay with that.
But they could have given us a season 1
Ahsoka?
and then a season 2. I know.
But Ahsoka, dang, this concept of Balin's skull alone.
Yep.
That's the only thing that gets me is I love the Acolyte. I love that we're getting the book. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just complaining that we just overshot 4 other shows, and we're never going to get a concept art book of those 4 shows, and it's sad.
It's funny because I like to try and play devil's advocate a lot, and I can't come up with a reason why they wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
So I'm like, why wouldn't they do
they
it?
have
I'm
the
like,
history. They have the history with Abrams of doing everything. Heck, they even have through Dark Horse. They've got both the Art of Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Only thing I maybe is maybe the Mandalorians 1 and 2 were poor sellers. They didn't think it was worth it. I don't know. But I mean, to me, it seems like pretty easy because they don't undercharge those. They're pretty expensive, so they got to make some money on it pretty quickly.
40, yeah, I think they're about a $40 book.
And all the artwork's already done, so the cost is assembling it and then editing it,
right,
and then put actually the manufacturing. So I don't know. I don't think there's that much overhead. You're not paying talent to write it.
I think
or
it's profitable. I think it's very profitable for them to release those.
Yeah, I even
because
got
people keep buying them over time. Yeah,
the Rebels one that was done through Dark Horse as well.
The Rebels one also lights up, right? It has the lightsabers on the cover that light up when you open the book.
Now, that was another thing that they did with some of those books. Is they did ultimate editions, and I don't have the ultimate edition, but yes, you're right.
I have the ultimate one. Yeah,
they do have things that are that light up. There, it was like about $100 book, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yep, I bought that one.
80 to 100, but
and it came in a box, so it was nice.
Yeah, came in a box. I mean, that's the same way with some of the other smaller books, like the Imperial Handbook, the Bounty Hunter Code. There was
Jedi Code, Sith Code.
Yeah, the Jedi Path, Rebel Files, like all of those things. Yep. The Book of the Sith, like they had ultimate editions too.
I got all those because the Book of the Sith came in a big Sith holocron, and it opened up and it like came out. And I
don't remember which one it is. Pushed a button and the thing popped open all on its own.
That's the one. Well, they all do. The Sith one does because the tray comes out of the Sith holocron with the book and raises it up. The other one is the Jedi one. It pops open and it comes up.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Bounty Hunter one, the Rebel one, they all do something like that.
They all do something, right.
That's what I'm saying. Like the art books have such a good history, and they've done such a wonderful job with the different publishers. I'm just shocked that we haven't gotten those other art books, and they're talked about on socials all the time. Like, when are we getting these things?
Yeah. Well, this was kind of a forward by Kristen Baver and also Leslie Headland.
Okay.
Then the 7th announcement was, of course, going into Outlaws, shifting gears, and Outlaws is coming. So, following the tradition of Dark Horse art books, we're going to get a book for the Art of Outlaws.
Yep, it'll go right on the old shelf, right next to Fallen Order and Survivor.
They did this right too. They did this right too.
This one could be massive. This one could be huge because I mean it's going to be a huge video game. Tons of locations,
open world, right?
Tons of art. This book could be an encyclopedia.
A lot of people are making these comparisons to being an open world, and they're also making comparisons to like Grand Theft Auto 5, right? So when you look at Grand Theft Auto 5, it's one map. It takes about, if you're in a car and not having like a wanted thing on you, you could pretty much like progress from one side of the island to the other in 7 actual minutes. And the biggest thing people are saying is like, well, it only took me about 4 minutes to get from one side of the planet to the other. I'm like, but there's 5 planets. So it took you 5 minutes just to get across one planet, and it's going to take you 5 minutes to get across all the other planets. That seems to me like it's 25 minutes just to travel.
Yeah.
Not to mention
traveling.
Space travel that can be done.
Right.
But it's not going to be a GTA style game. You're not going to just be able. They have a wanted system, but it's not going to be like GTA. You can't just go around randomly blowing people up and taking their stuff. Plus, I don't think that's what this game is shooting for. It's really showing a new protagonist, and there's got to be some linear story here, even though there's a ton of side missions.
Right.
This is going to be. I think it's going to be a great game, and from what I've heard from people that have gone out there and tested it, that it feels good.
And it's between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, so that time period is really interesting for us. And here's some previews of the different sections. Here's different chapters. So here's one. Look at the art. It looks great.
Concept art is going to be phenomenal for these. It always is.
It's beautiful. So these are all places you're going to be able to visit in the game. So look at how beautiful all this is. Canto Bight. And then the next announcement was a new visual guide to be announced for the Pablo Hidalgo's The Acolyte visual guide from TK.
These are fun too.
Yeah, these are
And
always good.
that's the other one. Again, I'm not taking anything away from the Acolyte, but where's my visual guide for Ahsoka
And Andor.
and
And
Andor?
yep, you're right. You're right. I agree with you 100%.
You know,
Because I
like
love these visual guides.
the last one. I'll take. Hold on, I'll take that back because they actually did. They did do a crossover between Andor and. I take that back. They did do a visual guide.
Oh,
Dawn of the Rebellion. So this did cover Andor and Obi-Wan. Oh, that's another art book that we don't have. Obi-Wan. Why did I forget about that? I'll just add that to my list.
Maybe they're waiting for season 2 of Obi-Wan, which is coming.
It is not coming, sir.
They said it is.
Wouldn't that be
Who's
something?
they? Because the box DVD set says the complete series. I don't think they're making any more.
Well, we'll see.
I don't know. I think
The next
I think
announcement
if Ewan
was-
has anything to say about it, they will because he even teased it in Anaheim.
Yeah,
He
did.
wants more, yeah, but
It'd
So
be
the-
interesting to see. I mean, you could bring Chrysanthemum in, here. Obviously, they had an epic duel on Tatooine, and
Mhm.
I think there's story to tell. But I think at this point, like, it can't have Vader in it.
no.
It
Right.
shouldn't have Vader in it. I think it should just be solely on Obi-Wan and what he does, and be kind of nice to see like that
Little
the
Luke.
young
It would be
Luke
You
nice
could-
to see young
you could-
Luke.
You
come
could
back.
bring back a teenage Leia and
No, because they already told her story, young Leia. In the
Yeah,
first
I'm being sarcastic.
I think we need a Luke story. I'd love to see how Luke
Little Luke.
meets Biggs, right? Dark
Mhm.
Lighter, and how they go to
And
Tasu
Wedge,
Station
too,
for
'cause-
power converters.
Right. So, and the last announcement was this Vernestra Rowe is a Jedi of action. And they have this Black Series figure of Jedi Master Vernestra Rowe. And John, you don't like this one either?
what does it say? A high-ranking Jedi, Vernestra Rowe, investigates the strange occurrences surrounding Osha, Anastasia, and Master Soul. Concerned at what they might portend. I can't read that last word. It's too small.
Yeah,
Huh.
pretty small.
I'd rather a young, full mane of hair Vernestra Rowe and a light whip.
A light whip, yes.
That,
That's my
that
complaint,
honestly
too.
would be cool.
That's my complaint. Like, give her a light
Yeah.
whip.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my biggest beef with the packaging is they went back to previous thing, and I complained about this. And
I mean, at this point, they change it yearly, right? I mean,
so if you think about this, so I have my Vader and my Luke. These are both the angled. Sorry, I'm gonna try to get this. They're
I
the
see.
angled boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you want to make the mural, you kind of have to angle them, and then you sit them on your shelf like this.
yeah.
Well, but now this is what's going to happen. This is, I got my Master Soul here. So you're going to do this with your mural. And then now because they switch packaging, you're then going to have this kind of like at a weird angle, and then it just, I don't know.
Yeah, but to be fair, that doesn't go with that mural. So that they each make their own mural.
So I'm using this as an example of the Phantom Menace. So right now there's 4 figures out in the Phantom Menace. There's Jar Jar, Jake Lloyd's Anakin, there's Padme, the Droideka. Number 5 is going to be Darth Maul. And Darth Maul got
Has
announced with
the
that
box.
packaging.
Oh, that's gonna.
That's
mess
what.
It up.
So I'm
yeah,
going to
you're
use
right.
that as an example. Is like, hey, I've got
Right.
all these angled boxes. And they have to go on a shelf a certain way, and I'm never going to get a square box to square up and look good. And so that's what irritates me. Is like,
Yeah.
I want to be able to put them up on a shelf so you can see the whole mural in some of the series. And now you're going to change the boxes, and then it's just going to look stupid.
Right. And then it went on to I don't have this in my notes, but
Oh, I know enough about this.
Okay, take it over.
I mean, the final battle. This is talking about the Jakku that the insurgents, was it Insurgency Rising or Rising
Oh, that's right.
Insurgency?
That's right.
And it's only a 4-book thing. It's not even an ongoing series.
Right.
So, like I said, like come October, we already lost Bounty Hunters. And Dr. Afra, those runs are completely done. Vader ends in number 50, which I believe is in October. And then the main Star Wars book is done. So not only did Charles say, hey, my run at number 50 is done, it's done.
Done. Yeah.
Because that led up to Return of the Jedi. That's where we were at with these books, was up to Return of the Jedi. And now they want to skip over Return of the Jedi, which is perfectly fine. Battle of Jakku, but it's only a 4-book comic. So I don't know what main Star Wars book is going to be there after this is done. And so I think it's like, for me, it's a little bit of uncertainty. Like, we just going to have High Republic books? Or, and then later in 2025, we might get back into like some kind of series of, or are they just going to do miniseries like how they did with the Rise of Kylo Ren and
filling in the gaps. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they have a plan, like they had the plan for, Project Luminous, that mapped out all of the 3 phases of the High Republic, which was great. Do they have a similar plan once the High Republic ends?
I think they wouldn't. I doubt it. Honestly,
I think when the High Republic ends, we're not going to see anything more High Republic. But I don't know with the main Star Wars books.
Right.
Typically they've been going from episode 4.
I think it was such what's the word? A massive undertaking by these head writers to build this outline. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a break.
We're kind of getting it. There's only really going to be this book in like October, November, and December, and I think January. And actually, I'm sorry. These books are being released in succession. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're not even going to be spaced out.
Here.
I think there's only 1 week that we don't get one of these. They're coming out like the first 3, then a break, and then the 4th one. So then, you're done essentially after October.
Right. And then the next thing was Insurgency Rising. Oh, no, that was that. Then we go to the prequel trilogy graphic novel, which is
going to be an adaptation of The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith.
Right. But look, the artwork looks really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And then we also have the High Republic Adventures, Dispatches from the Occlusion Zone, number 2.
Right, which I don't even remember seeing a number 1, but hey.
Yeah, I don't either.
So we must be getting that at some point, maybe late this year.
That might just be the second cover. They might be releasing right back next to each other.
I'm very excited for this.
Star Wars Encyclopedia?
Yes. I buy them every time they update them because then I can take the other ones that are sitting on my shelf that they actually take them. I give them to the secondhand bookstore. I put the new one on there because now I'll have, let's see. Yeah, that one should have The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker in there.
It will have everything.
So it's kind of cool.
Mandalorian, Ahsoka. Should have Andor. It has Solo.
See if it has Skeleton Crew. That would be the
Yeah, the 2 books that I have sitting out, or the 3 books that I have sitting outside of, because I have the current encyclopedia right now. I have Rogue One, Rise of Skywalker, and Solo. So I can tell Rise of Skywalker's in there. I can tell Solo's in there, and I can tell Rogue One's in there.
Yep. And then we have this, which is the Star Wars: The High Republic Edge of Balance Premonition.
Jonathan loves these.
I don't remember this one. What is this?
This is the new, but it's that. It's
the manga?
Yeah,
manga.
Yeah. This is like the next one, like the third one, right? They've only done 2, correct?
Right, and I have both of those. They're really good. This is Premonition, and that's the end of it. That was the last. So that was a review of all the things that we got at Star Wars San Diego Comic Con Lucasfilm panel review, with our takes on it. And any last words, buddies?
What are you most excited about?
I think Outlaws, to be honest.
Well, it's Outlaws because it's the one thing we can get our hands on in less than a month.
Right.
Some of this other stuff is like 2025, late 2025 or spring 2025. I guess I was a little shocked that they went so heavy on the Acolyte. With the
Real heavy
versus like some of the other books that are still coming out. There's still a whole trilogy of books that follow the Acolyte books to put a bow on there. Like Trials of the Jedi is 2025. Into the Light is 2025, and then A Valiant Vow. So those are still books that don't even have a release date. They're just coming out sometime in 2025.
And those are the final books of each of those different genres for young adult, adult novels.
Well, I think part of the promotions on here, the idea was stick close to Acolyte. I mean, they announced the action figure in the Lucas.
I think it's great. Yeah. I think keep the momentum going. The whole hashtag renew the Acolyte is all over X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Which I hope it does happen. But it's just like I guess it was like kind of, because also I forgot there's also going to be another audio drama, and it's called The Tempest Breaker, and that's again going to be Lorna D centric.
Those are fantastic. Yeah, I love those audio dramas.
Another one that comes out, but I think these are coming out post all these Acolyte productions. I think they were like pegged for later July to something else in 2025.
Even their booth there was centered around the Acolyte, so that was their kind of focus here, their theme.
Got it. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, obviously, I would have loved to have gone and gotten my hands on some of that stuff myself. But from what I read, I mean, Outlaws is number one because it's just simply I can get my hands on it now. But
I'm looking forward most to the encyclopedia.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah. Getting those things updated is just incredible.
But Mike, I'm surprised you didn't cover the last thing we talked about, the last announcement. It was Bryce's birthday during this panel.
Oh, that's right.
It was Bryce's birthday. It was also Alyssa Wong's birthday, the writer of it.
I'm so happy about that. I can't even tell you. I'm like, yes, I sure.
So we got her book, Alyssa Wong's little hardcover. She released it, and then it even got signed. For Bryce.
Thank you.
And she put a stamp on it. It says San Diego 2024.
Love it.
To Bryce for Light and Life. So this is a pretty big announcement. They had a whole panel around this. But writing a book for Bryce is cool.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people in the panel, but it's like just me. But
oh boy.
But yeah.
Be sure to follow us on YouTube at Virtual Cantina Network, on Instagram at virtual.cantina network, on X, Twitter, and it's still Twitter because it's www.twitter.com. You haven't changed that, at Cantina Virtual, on Threads at virtual.cantina network, on Hive at Virtual Cantina, and on TikTok at Virtual Cantina. And like the VCN Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025 Facebook page, which is the mothership. And shout out to our two partners, Star Wars Comic Book Nerds.
You mean Star Wars Book Nerds and
Star Wars Book Nerds
Comic Book Club?
Yeah,
they're meshed.
I need the pictures.
and Mike, the X identifies as X now, so it's X. Just because it says Twitter, it identifies as X. So you have to call it.
It says when they change www.twitter.com, then I'll change it. But it's Twitter.
All right. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the future.
Live long and prosper.
May the force be with you. And record.